it's a great pleasure to see all of you here. How many of you are here for the first time? All right, no one is perfect. You are now, but it's a delight to see you here, and I'm so grateful that my friend Yuri Kim and the AmCham went through the effort of bringing everyone together. I'm so excited to see so many mayors here from around the Balkans. We used to take this for granted, you know, so it's part of the speech. You have a line, you thank everyone who's here, you say thank the mayors, thank the neighbors. After what happened in Ukraine, I've been thinking a lot that neighbors matter. You live in an apartment block. It doesn't matter whether it's in Washington or in Tirana or in London or anywhere. And if you have one crazy neighbor that drills holes on a Sunday morning, or someone that screams, or someone who's a constant wife beater, it messes up your property value. It messes up your peace of mind. Can you imagine if you have a neighbor that decides to invade you one day? So I'm going to stop on this to thank the mayors who are here, because neighbors matter. We could have been neighbors with Russia and been in a totally different situation now. But no, we're neighbors with Greece, we're neighbors with Italy, we're neighbors with North Macedonia, we're neighbors with Kosovo, we're neighbors with Montenegro. Neighbors matter. So I'm very grateful that our good neighbors are here, because I think your success is our success, and vice versa. Whatever we do in Tirana is also part of your success. And I'm also grateful of the companies who are here, who've made the effort to come to Tirana. This year, Tirana is the European Youth Capital, so whether you're 18 or 81, there is a space for you, and there's something for you to do, from Rita Ora to Dua Lipa, from Tumo to the Pyramid. There's plenty of innovation going on in Tirana. I remember when I was a kid, I used to watch Cheers. Some of the Americans here have watched Cheers. And there's this episode where the coach is saying that one way to learn about foreign faraway countries like Albania, communist Albania, is to think of the facts like the tune of a music. So let's say if you use the tune of All the Saints Are Marching In, then the info on Albania would be like, Albania, the borders on the Adriatic, and it's mostly mountainous, and its chief export is chrome. And then there's a Simpsons episode where the chief export is furious political thought. And of course, this is the episodes from the 80s. And I think the question is, what is the song from Cheers or the Simpsons episode for Albania in 2022? And it cannot be chrome, and it cannot be furious political thought, although we try, but it has to be knowledge. And we work with a great professor, Ricardo Hausmann, from the Harvard Center for International Development, and he said we need to change the dichotomy. It shouldn't be information moving to the brain, it should be brains going where the information is, where the opportunities are. So what Yuri and AmCham have organized today is literally that, bringing brains where knowledge is, and see if we can scramble some of this together. So here's a few challenges that I'm interested as a mayor to find out. One is, let's not reinvent hot water. Let's not reinvent the wheel, as they say. I was in a similar conference in Geneva, and I finished my speech, and all the companies came afterwards because I probably looked like the mayor they could sell stuff to. And some of these companies said, well, Mr. Mayor, look, we have this beautiful panel. It looks like a panel from the Berlin Wall, like one of these, but it's of course digital and electronic. And this panel does amazing things, and it's completely your type of thing that you're doing in Tirana. And I said, well, I'm very curious, what does this panel do? This panel is great. You plug it like a city furniture in the pavement. It sucks up all the carbon, and then it filters it through this mucus, through this fungus, whatever they're using. And then on the other side comes oxygen. And I said, wow, this is a pretty impressive invention. I said, how much does this cost? Well, for you, because you're our friend and you're a champion mayor, 250,000 euros. And I said, you know, I don't know what you call this in Geneva, but in Albania, the thing that sucks up carbon and produces oxygen, we call it a tree. And it's so much cheaper than 250,000 euros. So sometimes there's this obsession that smart cities are an effort to cover all of our public space with gadgets. And the more gadgets we have, the smarter we are. I think sometimes it's about common sense. And we should never allow that gadget selling, gadget making, should overcome common sense in what we can do, like we're working with our friends from EBRD, with natural organic solutions like planting trees that do this for a fraction of the cost and are more sustainable in the long run. The second challenge is digitalization also exposing us? We had a very interesting conversation last week in Washington with our friends from OGP, the Open Government Partnership, where some mayors, including myself, are having concerns that this Iran attack, this cyber attack, is not only malign in the political sense, but it's also disrupting some of our services. Many people don't know, other than the, let's say, the big picture, the city of Tirana through July and August could not process e-permits, e-licenses, e-tax, a lot of the e-government services that actually constitute in those 2 months for 20% of the city revenue. And I'm not here to whine and to complain. All I'm here to say is that this is not just a political act, it has consequences. And we need to prepare. And what we saw is that some cities are saying, well, since we are now digitally naked and exposed, then we should close up. We should close up transparency, we should close up open budgets. But I think that's not the solution. There is a way to be prepared and to lock out all the malignant attacks. And there's also a way to keep being transparent, being open, keeping citizens engaged, allowing access to vital information that serves for transparency. And I think neither extreme is the right way to go. So I am curious to find out whether the experts here today can tell us if there is a scientifically, technologically viable way to be open and transparent and yet to be protected from forces that seek to disrupt our way of life. Third, if there was a pitch for those of you who are potential investors, if there's a 60-second pitch, it would be, this is the only country in Europe that is starting from this year to teach coding from first grade. This is the only country in Europe that is giving the most precious real estate, together with American support from the Albanian American Development Fund, which is the Pyramid of Tirana, a former intended mausoleum for Enver Hoxha, then a NATO headquarters during the Yugoslav conflicts. 2 young people who will be in the rate of 5,000 to 6,000 a month taking courses on coding, on robotics, on mechatronics, virtual reality, augmented reality, mixed reality, animation, video, audio, music, one of the most leading institutions. This is probably the only ecosystem where in the same time you have École 42, Factory Berlin. We just had a huge digital nomads conference last week, and some of the most relaxed laws on residencies for digital nomads. This is the youngest country in Europe, and this is definitely not only the European youth capital, it's also the youngest capital of Europe. So, and to close the pitch, you eat like a king, drink like a king with 1/3 of the cost in any of your respective countries. So if that 60-second pitch is for you, then the city of Tirana is open to welcome your business. And like we said, this is times of grave concern. There's a war going on in Europe. This country is in a digital war. And I think the jury is out at NATO whether this constitutes an attack on the members. And like most of our constitutions, they were written years ago, we need the modern translation. What constitutes an attack on a member? And probably we never thought of digital attack. Now, in this city, and I'm hoping some of our deputy mayors will have an opportunity to share, and I see my wonderful friend Katja from Vodafone, we do a lot of stuff digitally. And again, not reinventing the wheel or hot water, but trying to find ways where people can get engaged. Tirana IME is one of our outstanding projects where every person can be a mayor. They can walk anywhere, take a picture of a pothole, take a picture of a tree that was knocked out by last night's storm, take a picture of a bike lane that is not wide enough, take a picture of a pile of trash. They can comment, vent, say naughty things at the mayor, it doesn't matter, but immediately someone will go and fix it. They will get a picture back as a push-up to show that they can be in charge of their little neighborhoods and act as mayor and act as someone who's an inspector. Before, the city of Tirana had 1,000 inspectors who specialized on having cappuccino every day. And they were being paid for stuff that now people are doing for free. 20,000, and Katja is here to confirm, 20,000 people every month give input. We don't have to pay anyone. They do it as volunteers because they care about their community. This is the only place where you can pay for parking just through your phone. You don't have to see an inspector. You don't have to take out cash. You don't have to do any transaction. And you can do this for a fraction of the cost that otherwise was going around paying inspectors and paying machineries. So there's plenty going on in the city, and I really look forward. And like Yuri and like our colleagues, I will also try to free time. I was pleasantly surprised, and that you have so many amazing speakers. So I'll be coming in and out. But in the end of the day, remember, find your tune, like the cheer song, and whatever your tune is, put your Albania facts in it, and hope that this is a song worth remembering. Thank you so much. Enjoy your stay. Hopefully, Ennio and the team, and Eritan and the team, will allow for some break. It's a beautiful day. There's plenty going on. We have Egyptian Cultural Week. It's been Cultural Week, for all the 52 weeks of this year. And hopefully some people eventually become future residents, buy some real estate, become digital nomads. Who knows? But again, I'm delighted, Yuri. Thanks so much. And thanks, Amcham, for putting this together. Yuri and I have different job descriptions, but when it comes to making Tirana the regional gravity of anything cool, we're up for it. So thank you very much and have a lovely day. Thank you.